right, Sam back with you here. We're Tuesday, February 20th. And next coin that members had voted upon and requested was for VeChain, for VEN, VeChain. So just to go over here, and I've done this coin somewhat recently, but just to be consistent here, we look over here. Now this coin's only been around for 6 months, so this is encouraging. At least we're over 50 here. This, I don't love that, to be perfectly frank with you. I'd like to see that over 50 as well. There seems to be less interest amongst the development community. I'm not sure what that tells me. It's just, I'd call it a, moderate yellow flag of sorts. That surprises me. Given the market cap, look, we're at 3 billion we're over 3 billion in market cap, yet we don't have strong development interest. I'm sure someone will update me on what that is and what the reason for that is. But either way, this is a major project, so we can look at it, and of course, would probably be no surprise, the bulk of the trading is to Bitcoin, and it's on Binance, where we've got a little over 67% of it being traded. So let's go look at it. So here's this is the account I've been working from. This is VeChain on a 4-hour to Bitcoin on Binance. Now we can make a pretty strong case here that we have a completed 5-wave structure from our absolute low down here. So question is, what's happening over here on the right edge of the market? Do we have our 2 in? Well, just pretty straightforward stuff. We would just, given that we have a completed 5-wave structure, we just pull from the absolute low up to our high here. Well, so that's of note, of course, right? That we come just a few shy of the 50. So is this our 2 here? Well, this isn't the prettiest reaction off of that. We can make a case there that we have a diagonal underway, but it's not the kind of price action you would hope to see if you're working from this as your 2 low. And then we have kind of ugly subdivision here. We have this 5-wave sequence down here into potentially an A wave. So let me go down to the hourly and we can take a closer look at this. You can see what I mean. It's not ideal, but it's there. So we've got the. So how would you tell? A little bit of this is just knowing what to look for. So this 3-wave structure here implies the B to me. So given that I can get a 5-wave into that for an A, so you're working on the assumption that you're going to work off of a zigzag. So we'd have a 5, 3, 5. Although this is. That's pretty compressed in there to get 5 out of it. But it's there if you dug down to the 15 minutes. So you can make the case that this is an ABC with, the extension, of course, in the A. So, and of course, we get a diagonal, a leading diagonal in the A wave where you can allow for it per Elliott's rule set. So we get a leading diagonal, 3-wave B. Of course, you'd want to look for that to be technical. So pulling from my swing high to my A low, we go right to the 50. But we come up shy here on the algo target. Now, just because it's there doesn't mean that they get it all the time, because there's algos buying here at this 50. So right now, you can look at it and just look here and say, well, we're in a fib fight. So here's the 50 on the way up. Here's the 50 on the way down. You can see we're just kind of battling it out between those two. And up here, look at the reaction last time we come up to challenge it. So, can we, it's not a 3-wave correction. So let me take this off so we declutter a little bit. And I'll take this off on the assumption that if people are interested in an analysis of this coin, they're looking for the long side. So can we make a case here for this to be going 5-wave? Well, you'd have to, so potentially here's your 1. Right, it's a deep 2, but as I recall, this is technical. I think we go to the 786. Get it right on there. So there's 786 right to the tick, and we can get a 3-wave out of that. So here's the algo target. So they front run potentially. Then or if they failed on it, they got a second shot at it, and they got it there. So now, if we're going to play this as a diagonal, right? So this we've already overlapped the 1. So that obviously we didn't have an impulsive wave. So if I take this off. So what does that leave us? Well, we've got a 1, 2, potentially we've got a 3-wave here, which we can get an ABC into it since we're playing it as a diagonal. So we can look there and say, well, we know that hit the algo target. Do we have, we don't we don't have to go 100% here since it's a diagonal, but we'd want to check that and say, okay, well, there's the 100 here, front run here. Here it is again, so they get through. So potentially here, we have this running as a diagonal. So if I take that off now, given that it's a diagonal, we'd now want to pull from the bottom of from the start of it, from what our potential, our proposed low here is, to the 3 high, right? We'd be looking for the 50. So, you know, anywhere in this zone, here's the next buy zone here between the 38 and the 50. You got the Vegas wave there, interestingly, offering you a little support. So is the 38 enough? Well, you can make the case you might want to see a little bit more subdivision here. So that's just a straight rip down. So for whatever reason, sellers have stepped in here, and now, you know, could be that it was the hit of the algo target, as I showed you before. That algo target gets hit, and then the selling comes in as they take their profit. So that's reasonable to be considering. Okay, well, if this is going to play as a diagonal and I've got an ABC going into my third, you know, I sure would want to see some more subdivision here into my fourth. So, you know, if this is going to play as, did I lose it here? Yeah, I think I did. Hang on, let's go back. If I can get, if this is my A, B coming down into a C, I like it better if I can get that. If I see that, I'd like to see a little bit of subdivision here to bring me down into that. You don't have to have it. You know, those are pretty wide swings, so that makes me want to look at a pitchfork here. So I'd check the first one just to see if that had any influence on it. We come up shy on original. Let's go to, we can take the 2 off. Let's go to one of the modifiers and look at shift. Yeah, you know, it's not spot on, although, you know, we're contained here. Let's go to modified, which is the equivalent of a channel. So I might work from that here. You know, so I would look here and say, you know, how technical were we here? Here, you know, 786, right? So here that you could really make the case that this is just a reaction as algos take profit. We come up here. There's the 50. We're not quite there yet. So reasonable to think that you get another shot at this. So if this is going to play as my B, A, B into the C, then there should be a little reaction move up here for, I would be looking for this at some point to come up here and try and challenge those highs. The B is the failure to get to new highs. Doesn't always fail, right? So we can get an expanded flat. But, you know, since it's diagonal, we're going to be looking for 3s and 3s and 3s. So over here, this is where I'd be looking for that. Yeah, that's deep. Median line doesn't seem to be playing a huge role here, but then I might also, right, there's a bit of just art and science here. Looking for, you're just trying to see if you can figure out what the algos are doing. Is there anything there I can work with? Let's go back to original. You know, that's a contender. So if we put the 1.5 on it, so we've got a parallel there, that could play. So we'd be looking now. So we get a target up here on the negative 618 playing the diagonal. So we're swing low. Let's go up to the proposed 3 high. So that gives us a target here. Whether this is our low or this is our low, we've got this target here, this negative 23.6. Now, since it's a diagonal, we'd also want to be looking for 100%. That's 618 and the 100%. Those are common. So if we use our alternate price projection tool, we'd want to use that and go, okay, from swing low up to the 3 high, and I'm hypothetical. So if I come down and we bottom here at the 50, I've got a couple of targets here that, you know, are worth noting. So there's the 618 of it, and then here's the 100% of it, which would line up here with the median line. So that's a contender. You know, it's still right now we're just getting a sell-off from the algo reaction. That would be my guess. So we might stall here. Then of course we'd look left. You know, all the things that you would do trying to get a handle. Okay, where's support? Well, you know, that seemed to be important. So I would wick that off. Well, here's my 1 high. I want to wick that off as well. You know, I don't know if that potentially comes back into play or not. It looks to me like it's gone through it. So, you know, this seems to be offering potentially a little bit of support here as a candidate, nothing more than a candidate for the A low. Get a little push down here. Now we got to be careful about this going too deep Got to be careful about that. But the 50 is a reasonable spot to be looking for this. And then we've got a couple of targets, right? This is common for a diagonal at 618. Here's the algo target. That takes priority. Here's the 100% and the 618. So, you know, you've got a trade potentially there if you're really interested in getting into this project. My suggestion would be wait, because that reaction is extreme. That's an extreme sell-off. So for whatever reason, buyers have stepped aside. I'd wait for the 50 and look for it to stabilize there. And then, then now you've got a decent risk reward. If we get the 50 down here, now the risk reward looks much better. You're still working off of the potential magnetism of the median line. We'd have to go out. We'd have to add the 200% to it. So we'd do that, of course. Looking here, saying, okay, contender zone down here. So you build a hot box down here, alarm it, wait for it to get there, look for a reaction. What do we get? That's what I see. All right, guys, I'll wrap it there.